Good morning. Today we're getting an early start, getting on the road. We have to go back up to the cabin. We had a little snafu up there with the people that we bought it from. Unfortunately, their daughter was not happy about the mom selling the cabin, and so she ended up taking it upon herself to go on up by, unannounced. And, we had our locks on there and our lockbox and everything. And so she went up there to get, I guess, some personal belongings. And anyway, I had to give her the code to the box so she didn't break in, and she went in and got some stuff. I don't know what she got, but we're gonna take a special trip up just to go see that everything's okay at the cabin, and then change the code on the lockbox so that I don't have to worry about her visiting the cabin again. We made it very clear that the transaction's done. So your mom sold the cabin. You don't have a right to be on the cabin anymore. I didn't want to be like too much of a jerk about it, but it kind of really upset me. And I've been thinking about that cabin, and her doing whatever she did. But so now I have to go back up there. We're gonna go check the cabin, change the codes, make sure everything's hunky-dory, and then we're gonna go around through Yosemite and go to Mammoth. So you guys get to go to Yosemite today. We're gonna take you through the park. So that should be fun. A fun day. It's gonna be about an 8-hour day of driving. Nothing I haven't done before, so shouldn't be too big of a deal. Got an early start. It's actually 7 o'clock. It's kind of late. I wanted to be on the road at 6, but I had a bunch of busy work to do on the computer this morning, and I just didn't get out of the house as fast as I wanted to. So stick around. We're headed to Shaver Lake, and then after that we're going to Yosemite. Oops. Yeah, I really enjoy this part of the drive. I like this area a lot. This is basically east of Fresno, about 15-20 miles, and we got to go another probably about 40 miles up to get to the cabin. But you go through these beautiful foothills with all the oak trees and all the other kind of trees, and it's like cattle country right here, and it's rolling hills but usable land. And I would love to I'd love to live right here, actually, but getting a piece of ground around here probably not the easiest thing to do. But it's really nice, and a lot of ranches, big ranches up through here, and it's I like it. Kind of opens up out to the west there, northwest I would say, and then it just gets steeper and steeper as you get back up in here. And you just climb right on up to 7,000 feet is where the cabin's at. About 7,000 feet. It's a little bit, not quite as high as Mammoth, just a little bit lower. It's on this side of the mountains, so it gets a little bit warmer most of the time. I mean, sometimes we get those cold fronts, but typically it's a little warmer on this side in the wintertime, and a little more more wet, like the moisture. Like we have more of a dry snow over there, and this one's more a little wet and heavy over here on this side. But when you get a real big storm, it doesn't really matter. It's pretty much the same on both sides. Yeah, I don't mind this area right here at all. It's just too bad California, you know, they just, such a beautiful place, and they just gotta tear everything up, tax everything, and regulate everything. And it's surprising that we have the population that we have. It's just because it's such a beautiful place to be. It's got to be one of the most beautiful states of all. But you got the mountains, you got the beach, you got everything. We're gonna work our way up the hill here and make sure the cabin's okay. Change the codes and all that, and then we'll be on our way. We'll be on our way to Mammoth from here. All right, we're here. So this is our beautiful cabin. You've seen it before, but there's no one up here today. I think they're home, but I mean, all these cabins are pretty much empty. Bud, get over here. Come on. So here it is. In all its glory. It's definitely a fixer-upper. If you little disappointed, they took a few more things that I feel like they go with the cabin, and that was the whole thing. I told them take, you know, your furniture and stuff, but the stuff that went with the history of the cabin, I wanted to keep with the cabin. That's really neat. They left that, so I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, you can see they went through all this stuff. They left me all the stuff, all the junk they didn't want. This log handler is very cool. These saws, I really was hoping they wouldn't take those, and they didn't. So now we can do what we originally planned on doing here, which is get all this stuff out of here. And you know, we'll keep the stuff that we want to keep with the motif of the cabin, but we're gonna get all this stuff out and go to work. We're gonna go to work. We're drawing a floor plan right now, and I'm thinking about adding some square footage, and this could be the area where I decide to do that by bringing this wall out and keeping the 8-foot ceiling height. And then once I do that, I would end up, I would extend this deck out maybe a little bit, so we still have a little bit of a deck, but I can grab some more square footage without changing the overall footprint of the house too much. And that should work pretty good for us. So didn't take the painting, so that's cool, but there was a rifle on the wall. They took that. I don't care. The mount, the deer mount, they took the deer mount. That's really sad about that. I wanted the deer mount, but they did leave a lot of cool stuff. These little block and tackle, that's a trap. Yeah, that's wood. That's a wood block and tackle. There's some, I don't even, those are for horses, I believe, for like a team. Get off there, bud. I mean, they didn't make a huge mess, so. Whew. I mean, it smells old and musty in here. I mean, it smells like a 100-year-old person. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised, and now I feel much more comfortable. We did leave the water on, so the house is going to need to be winterized very soon, because we're going to end up with frozen pipes. So they left the water going. And honestly, I don't even know how to do the turn the water on and off here. I'm gonna have to figure all that out. But now I can rest easy and change that lockbox code, batten up the hatches on the windows and doors, and we're gonna keep it moving. So we got a long drive ahead of us. We got to go through Yosemite, as still got to get through Yosemite by this afternoon. And but what a sense of relief that this is finally a done deal. Like I said, the daughters, they were not happy with their mom, but her husband passed. He left her with a beach property, this property, a couple properties in Bakersfield, and she is at the point where, you know, she's liquidating all the real estate and, you know, preserving some capital to live on for her, you know, for the last part. And the daughters, you know, they want to keep everything, and they were very rude to her, actually, and I didn't like the way that they talked to her when we went to do the transaction on this, and it wasn't very nice. And you know how some people's kids get when money's involved, and you know, at the end of the day, they want the money, and it's not their money, it's their parents' money. So I feel good about it. We got her the money that she needs, and we got a really cool cabin. I'm super pumped about this cabin. Can't wait to start doing some stuff to it, and I'm just looking forward to working on this thing and enjoying time with the family here. I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited about it, and got some ideas on how to bring some of this square footage out on this thing. And I think one of the things would be possibly, I hate to say it, but we might have to ditch the fireplace and put a dormer that comes out so that we can add on to the back here. We'll see what we end up doing. It is kind of nice to be able to drive around the back side of this thing, but I don't think it's necessary, and I think we'd rather have the square footage on the cabin than parking. There's plenty of parking here, and yeah, I'm super excited. So I was building up a level of intensity on the way up here because I didn't know what I was going to find. Because the last time when she was actually here, we drove up with the truck and trailer. She was actually here, and they spent the night, and we had already signed the paperwork and everything. So I you know, it almost started a big problem, because it was like, hey, you know, your mom's already signed the deed. You know, this is not your cabin anymore. And I held my tongue and allowed her to stay the night, and we ended up leaving because we couldn't do what we wanted to do. We drove all the way up here basically for nothing, and it was just an uneasy feeling leaving the cabin with, you know, her daughter here, not knowing if she was gonna like start squatting here or what they were gonna do. But you know, they did what they said they were gonna do, so I'll leave it at that. And now it's on to a new adventure with this property, and like I said, I'm just super excited about it. I can't wait to use my imagination here, because it's kind of an open book, and we can do, you know, whatever we want here. We can definitely add some square footage to it and a few other things, and it's just gonna be a great little place. I love it. Got a heck of a deal on it too, so can't complain about that. All right, we're gonna head on out of here. So you guys got to see the cabin. Now we're gonna go to Yosemite and keep our day going. I mean, you took the fucking table. Fuck, man. Fucking piece of shit. Sadie! Oh! I did that already once. Look at that cloud layer over there. That's that fog we were coming back through over there. And that's the valley floor below, all way down there. So I think we're, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 feet here. But that's a school. I didn't know there was a school here. So there's a roundabout down here that we're gonna make it up to, and we can take that, and that'll allow us to cut over and start heading back towards Yosemite without taking coming all the way out of the mountains. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, that cloud cover down there, pretty thick. That fog was thick this morning. All right, now we're heading back. We came down out from over there, kind of made a little loop, and we're heading heading back towards Yosemite and Coarse Gold and all the little towns up along through here. So we'll see what we see. It really flattens out down here, and it's pretty cool. Not too many trees. It's just crazy how the landscape changes from one spot to the next. You know, just 30 miles over that way is a completely different type of ground. I mean, these colors are amazing. So much color. Making our way up to the entrance here in another few miles.